Hi everyone, I will be showing you some things that are going to be useful for the final assignment, which is going to be a tornado. I actually have the video over here. There it is. Alright, so that's going to be the final assignment. So the first thing I want to show you guys is what you can do, custom normals on meshes and what you can do with them. So by default, if we have 3ds Max open, uh, it's already showing the custom normals over there on the mesh that I had. But if I create a new object, like a plane, by default, the normals are always going to be facing upwards from where the mesh is facing from. So on the plane, if I put edit normal, you can see all these little lines are pointing where the normal is, and it's possible to take them and actually modify them. And as you can see, it also changes the way the light is being reflected on it, because this is the light systems always use the normals. So when you're using a texture, a normal texture on a mesh, it's sort of like you're adding even more of that information. Like right now by default it's only set for every vertice, but with a texture, a normal map, you can actually alter the normal in between the vertices as well. But this is not uh, a lesson about normal maps, it's more about the vertex normals. So as you can see over here on this mesh, what I've done is that the outer edges of the ring are pointing outwards, and the inner vertices are pointing inwards. And the middle one is pointing up, but we're not even going to use this one. So what can we do with this? And this is something that's going to be in the final assignment, is if we put the ring in here and we're going to create a material for it, call it fx mat underscore just custom normal. Oh, and don't forget to number your files all the time. Underscore 01. I like it better like this. Alright, so we've got that mesh. Oops. We've got that mesh over there, and we've got material over here. Let me just find it. Okay. So as you can see, the lighting is being weird because it has some custom normals. But in VFX, we never really use lit materials, or rarely, only when doing physical things, which I don't think we have done in our class. So as soon as we put it to unlit, you're gonna see that this sort of curvature in the light over here, it's going to disappear. So let me just put a color over here. So since it's unlit, and I can simply put this in emissive, I want my opacity to be set to 1. Save, and I'm going to apply it on that mesh. Yeah, I've got the mesh selected. There we go. So the normal is no longer affecting the actual look of the thing. So let's just go back in here. So what can we do with this normal? Well, as you've seen before, we did this in Unity. We did that wobbling sphere where we were panning a texture across a mesh, and depending on the texture, it would push the vertice towards their normals, which would make it actually scale up or down. But in this case, we have normals pointing inwards and normals pointing outwards. So what this means is that when we affect the vertex position by the normal direction, we're going to have control over the thickness of our mesh. And to show this, I'm gonna use vertex normal world space, and then I'm going to multiply it by a number. It needs to be a scalar parameter. I'm gonna call this thickness. And I'm going to plug this here and simply save. So there shouldn't be any difference at first, but then I'm going to play with this number and you should see, there you go. So the normals are being, the vertices are being moved towards their normal. And actually right now, it's the vertices of the center are also going up. It's hard to see because of the color I chose. Let me just choose another color, something like blue. Yeah, okay. So if I put this back to 0, yeah, the center vertices are going up because of our mesh over here. But I actually set this mesh, I think it was in the vertex color or vertex alpha. Oh, have I not done that? Well, you know what? I'll show you what to do about this immediately. So let's just delete this. So if I choose the center vertex over here and I set its alpha to 0, I am simply going to re-export this mesh. Just gonna leave it there. So if I go in here in my meshes, gonna import. Yep, the settings are all right. So now, if I delete this and I put this new ring, just gonna center it. And I apply the material. Save that. Alright, so it's still going up, but since we now have this this alpha which is set to 0 over here, we can use the alpha as a mask to prevent any vertices that has an alpha of 0 to not move. So it's as simple as adding another multiply, and obviously if we multiply this by 0 and plug it here, nothing's gonna move. It's going to go back to its previous position. Yep. But if we use vertex color, which is a node that sort of calls whichever information we put here, and we plug the alpha, it's going to multiply these numbers we have here by 1 for everything that is on the outside and the inside, and by 0 for everything that is on the inside. So if we save this, you're going to see the ring expand, but the middle vertices are going to remain at the bottom. There we go. Oh, and you know what? I just remembered we actually don't really need to use the alpha over here, because another thing we can do is constrain the difference in the vertex position by an actual axis. So we could say that um, we want our movement to be multiplied by 1 on the x-axis and the y-axis, because in Unreal x and y are the horizontal ones, and 0 in the blue one in z, and it should be giving us the same result because vertices can no longer go up or down by this math over here. Yeah, yeah, so that's even better because it allows ourselves to use the vertex alpha for something else in case we would need it. So that's it for custom normals. So as you've seen before, you can use dynamic parameters inside of a particle system to control stuff. So you could be plugging a dynamic over here and simply call it thickness, whoops, like this, thickness. And now you would have control inside of the particle system to change the thickness of this mesh like you want. Let's do it. So I'm just gonna save this. And then let's create a particle system. PS underscore custom normals underscore 01. Now we're going to delete that mesh over there. Gonna put a type data for a mesh over here. Override material, very important. Now we can actually use the original ring mesh that I already had in the project, since we no longer need that custom alpha color. Initial size, let's put it back to 1. Save, drag it here. Alright, and spawn, I'm gonna set a rate of 1 per second. We don't need velocity. Alright, and if I use the dynamic parameter, I'm just going to rescale this over here. Let's click refresh. Oh, yeah, it's important to assign the material, huh? So let's put this here. Let's save. Material needs to recompile because we put it on a particle this time. Let's just wait until it becomes blue. This computer is so slow. Come on. You know what? I'm gonna stop this video for now.